after we let Coach Satterfield start us off with his opening statement. So, Coach, it's yours.
Yep. All right. Appreciate it. Good afternoon, everyone. I know we certainly got Wake Forest this weekend, and that's our last game. I'm looking forward to that. But I do want to address, some things that have gone on the last couple of weeks, and particularly this weekend, before we get started with this. They go back to a couple of weeks ago when, we did get approached by South Carolina, and initially was not interested in that. I think put a statement out there with that, saying that, we're not interested. We're focused on Boston College, and that was 100% what we were doing that week. As we move forward, forgot about it. We're getting ready to go to Boston College. We played the game in Boston College. We find out, listen, we're playing Wake Forest on the 12th. We have a bye week coming up. They circle back around with this. And, thinking about it again, I said, listen, we got a bye week. They want to have a conversation. I'll listen to what they have to say about this, about that particular job. It's not one that I really was interested in, but I said I would listen primarily because of where it's located. I think most all you guys know that I spent 23 years in Boone, Carolina, at Appalachian State, very familiar with the Carolinas. So I think that was probably the biggest thing for me to be able to just say, listen, let me listen to what they have to say. With not really much intentions on this job. So after conversation, decided immediately that, listen, it's not where I want to be, and Louisville is where I wanted to be. I think, when I took the job 2 years ago, I was like, man, what a great place that is, a great opportunity to go to this program and change what had happened in that previous year, 2018. And that hasn't changed. And throughout this whole thing, the last 2 weeks, it hasn't changed. I mean, we're focused on this program, making this the best program in the country, and that has not changed. I do want to apologize to the fans out there. I understand what has transpired here in the past, particularly with the head football job. And I do apologize for that. It never was my intention to hurt anyone with that. And really, I put myself in your shoes, and I would think the same thing. Like, man, this guy, why would he want to listen to another opportunity? Well, again, I think it came down to location, and and then after talking, I'm like, man, we got a great job. We're located right here in Louisville. We have a passionate fan base, and I love the fact that they're passionate. And Louisville fans have been nothing but great to me and my family since we've been here. Open arms, and I appreciate that, and still appreciate that. And I do know this also. In order to have a championship caliber program, there has to be alignment between the president, the AD, the football coach, and then everybody else. And I absolutely love President Neely. I think she's done a fabulous job here, and will continue to do. And she's awesome. And Vince has done a great job here, and will continue to do a great job here. And so for all those reasons, this is a great place, and we want to be here, and we want to continue to make this the best program in the country. We're very, very close. I realize this year that we don't have the kind of wins that we want to have. I realize that. I do also realize the fact that in the fourth quarter of every game, we're one possession away from winning the football game. And there's a fine line. We talk to our players all the time about wins and losses. You got to make those plays. And we just, for whatever reason this year, we've turned the ball over. Well, we've not made enough plays to go win. You think about, last year we won 8 games, and we won a lot of those games in the fourth quarter. And so there's such a fine line, but I think we're very, very close. We have a great class coming in here in 9 days, and so excited about the class that's coming in. We've been in constant contact with these recruits, and they're fired up about the future of this program and want to be a part of it. And number one, they're great kids, great families, and it's exactly the kind of players and families that we want to join our program. And so, with that, we're excited about the future. We're excited about where we're headed. But I did want to make sure I apologize to the fans out there with that. I'm sorry that I hurt you. We're going to do everything we can to earn that trust back and, to move this program forward. And we're going to need you, as we look forward. But, we do have Wake Forest this weekend. We had a great practice last night. It was awesome. The guys were flying around. We know Wake Forest is number one in the country in turnover margin. So great. That's going to be a great test for us as we move forward. But that'll probably be the difference in that game.
All right, we'll take questions now. We'll start with Rick Bozich and then go to Cameron. Rick, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm sorry. I was on mute. I apologize. Scott, other than the geography and your family ties to the Carolina region, what else appealed to you about the South Carolina job enough to talk to them?
There really wasn't a whole lot else, really, quite honestly. Where it's located was the biggest factor.
Cameron.
Yeah, Scott, Cameron with the Courier Journal. Have you had a chance to talk to the guys? I imagine you had practice yesterday. You probably talked to them Sunday or maybe Saturday. Kind of,
yeah.
What was that conversation like, and kind of how did they respond?
Yeah, and I've been up front with our guys really the whole time as well, and and I just shared my heart with them. Obviously there's things you talk to a team that you don't really talk about out in public, but I shared my heart. About how we love our guys, man, and we're going to do everything we can for these guys. We got great facilities, we have a lot of great things, but we want to do more. We want to do a lot more with our program and continue to grow it. And that's kind of what I was sharing with them. Listen, we're trying to do everything we can with this program to move it forward. There's things that we need and want as we move forward to be the top program in the country, and that's what we're striving to do. That the mission has not changed, and and these guys, I mean, they were fired up and had a great practice. They went out and really did some great things, and just like we normally would do on a Sunday.
Matt McGavick and Kent Spencer.
Hey, Coach, this is Matt McGavick with Sports Illustrated. You said that the main reason, really the only reason that you talked to South Carolina was because of the proximity to your parents, and that was you felt like you had an obligation to talk to them because of that. Going forward, say another job from the region opens up like an NC State or a UNC or even Clemson, do you think that maybe you'd have an obligation to talk to them for the same reason?
Well, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say that I wouldn't, but I think if anything comes out, a job that opens up in the future, it would definitely be handled a lot different. I think, I want to, last year, there were several jobs that reached out last year. I did not entertain them. I mean, I think if you're doing a good job wherever you are, it doesn't matter. You can look across the country. If somebody's doing a good job, then people are going to inquire about them. And certainly that happened last year. But I'm not interested. So if there is something in the future that would be out there that we think that would be enticing, certainly going to handle it a lot different. But but again, we're committed to staying here and taking this program to the top of the country. I mean, I know a few years back, I think, we get all the way to number 3 in the country, and that's where we want to be. We want to be in the top 5 program year in and year out.
Can't.
Scott, you mentioned the fact that if something else comes up in the future, you would handle it differently. Where do you think, in your mind, what mistakes do you think you made on this deal after you get done choking?
Oh, man. Sorry about that.
Well, what do you think? What mistakes do you think you made? Because you mentioned the fact that if there was some other thing that you would handle it differently. What mistakes do you think you made in this?
Well, just if I'm 100% serious about the job, I think then you're certainly going to look at it. But I mean, I really, as I mentioned earlier, the location was what was enticing, and that was about it. So I think if something in the future popped up, and I think if you want to look at it, then you better be very, very serious. And it's because I don't want to put our fans, I don't want to put the people through, our players or anybody through, kind of what's transpired here over the last 48 hours. I mean, I'm not interested in doing that. I think, so if it is something out there that is enticing, I think it is going to have to be very, very serious and something that, you can be out front about and say, listen, man, here's something that maybe, whatever it may be, we're interested in this because of this. Hey, we're going to take a look. And then we'll go from there. But I think for me, this was obviously a learning process and going through this. I don't want to put anybody in this situation.
Go to Michael McCammon and then Jody Dimling.
Hey, Coach. Michael from Cardinal. You've been preaching commitment a lot. You had the opt out from Javian Hawkins, for example. How do you balance, having, preaching the commitment to the team and stuff, and then, but still entertain? How do you balance those two and be able to hang on to that type of culture or commitment that you want?
Yeah. Well, I think as players, it's a little bit different than coaches. And I know sometimes we like to lump coaches in with players. As a player, you're there for 3 to 4 years and then you're done. Right. And I think as coaches, and as players, you really don't have a family. I mean, it's just you, and as coaches, and I'm just thinking in general terms here, coaches have wives and kids and, as a job, are they going to be at a job for 40 years? I mean, there's a lot of different things I think that are involved with coaching. I think, with the players, like I said, it's 3 or 4 years and they have to be all in because it's hard as a player. It's hard as a player to go to class, to get up and go to meetings, go weight training, to go practice, come back and study, all the things they have to do. Oh, and by the way, then go perform on a game day. I mean, it's just a lot of things that a player has to do that I think, that are pulling at there's so many different avenues that are pulling at them. So you have to be all in with it, and I think as coaches, it's a little bit different. As I mentioned, I mean, you got a career in the coaching, go back and look at any coach's bio. Now, I've been fortunate and blessed to be, I was at one school for a long time, and I would rather it be that way. I don't like the fact that you pick up and move and all that. That's not who I am. I don't like that at all. You want to be at a place that you can thrive and win and have a great life and all those things. So, but I do think there is a little bit of differential between a player and a coach.
Jody.
Scott, hey, it's Jody Dimling with Cardinal Authority. Can you clarify what the conversation was like with Vince throughout this process? And then as a follow-up to that, once you got to Saturday, kind of how the recruits reacted, and if you had to answer any questions from the recruits about the potential of you leaving.
I think number one, I think Vince and I have a great relationship, as I do with President Neely. I mean, and Josh Hurd, and everybody in our administration. I think they all do a fabulous job. So, and I think we'll continue to have that great relationship and great dialogue. And I think as far as the recruits go, I had a Zoom call on Saturday. We already had that set up, and you do have to address it, obviously. I mean, it's out in the media, so you have to address it with your recruits. And, we had great conversation with their families. And like I mentioned earlier in this press conference, we have not only good players, but great people that are coming in here and that are going to help elevate our program and the type of people that everybody's going to be proud of, our all the fans and all our coaches and our players that are on this team that want to be good. And so, we had great dialogue, and we continue to have that dialogue with these recruits. And, and I'm looking forward to getting them here. We're going to have, around roughly 10 guys that'll be here in January, which is very, very soon as you look at it right now, and probably about a month away. So we're excited about getting those guys on campus.
Cameron and then Russ Brown.
Yeah, Scott, a quick sidetrack from the South Carolina stuff. Obviously, senior day this weekend. Do you know how many of the guys are going to walk or how many of the guys are going to come back, or kind of what those conversations have been like?
No, that's a great question, Cameron. I think, this is senior week for our guys, and, we'll be recognizing those guys, during the game. And, we don't know yet how many guys will come back. I think, we'll have those conversations after the season and figure that out. I think, there's obviously going to be some guys that want to pursue an opportunity at the next level, NFL. There'll be some guys that want to come back to, try to get to that level. I think just to help themselves out for one more season. So I think as we move forward through it, I mean, it'll be interesting to see, who in fact really wants to come back. I mean, we've had some conversations with a few of the guys, and then, a few of the other guys we already know that's going to try to go, to the next level. So that'll be a conversation that we'll have after the season as we move into next semester. And there's a few guys too that have maybe trying to finish up a master's and those type things, and so that'll fit in nicely for them to be able to come back and and finish up with their masters, which will be great.
Russ.
Scott, Russ Brown. A couple things are sort of unrelated, but you talked about earning trust by the fans. How do you go about that? And then secondly, a team down the road, players voted that if they're offered a bowl bid, that they will accept it. Have you thought about doing that with your ball club, or have there been any discussions about that?
No, there hasn't been any discussions. We, I don't think we're going to a bowl game. We don't know how the bowl season is going to play out. I've actually, we've seen how many, maybe 10 that have already canceled their bowl for this year. I'm not sure how that's going to continue to play out as we move forward with this. So, I think maybe we'll get some clarity over this week and in the week after. But, right now we're not planning a bowl game. And I'm sorry, I forgot the first part of that question.
Oh, I was asking about, you talked about earning the trust back with the
I got it. Yeah. Well, I just think, continue to work hard and continue to do the things that we should do to get this program, at the top program in the country. that's kind of where we're doing. And I know everybody wants to win. You got to put a product on the field that'll be competitive and win football games and continue to do the things that will enable that to happen. And I think, bringing in this class, as I mentioned before, I think it's going to help us. And having at least 10 of them going to be here in January, they'll be able to go through spring practice as we head into next fall. And I think, I think I've always tried to be, open and honest with everybody that I've come in contact with. I know, the fans don't get to get around me or our staff on a daily basis in the building, but I think, we try to be that way. I think we try to treat people with respect, and we'll continue to do that.
We'll go to Mark Ennis and then Paul Rogers.
Scott, just to clarify with Vince, did Vince know beforehand that you were going to go talk to South Carolina?
Well, we certainly have had conversation, throughout really the whole time that I've been here. And, the conversation that we have had, obviously are between us, between, an AD and a head coach. And so I'll just leave it at that.
Paul.
Hey, Scott, it's Paul Rogers. Two of your really good games this year were Florida State and Syracuse, and you had pretty much your full team in those games, both in terms of injuries and COVID. Are you pretty much back to that point now, or at least do you hope to be? And then if I can, I have a follow-up.
Okay. Yeah, good point there, Paul. It's well, I hope to be. We did have some dings coming out of the game with Boston College, but the bye week did help with some of those guys to heal up. We mentioned, Marshawn Ford was out, Monty Montgomery was, had a bum leg, and Goldwire did not play. So there was Clark didn't. So there was several guys. Desmond Tell, but several guys are out. But we hope to have them all back. I think, as we stand here today, most all our guys will be available to play, and which is a great thing, to have a full complement of your team.
The other part is just a little bit about Wake Forest. They run that sort of odd offense. You don't see it but once a year or so. What challenges in particular does that present, and just them in general?
Yeah, I think, offensively, they're very efficient. They do a great job with what they're trying to do. And you mentioned it's a little bit different offensively with the way the quarterback kind of slow rides the running back, and then he can hand it off. He can pull in and run it, or he can pull and throw. And you do get a lot of isolation plays with that because, you're kind of commit your safeties and your linebackers to stop the run. And then all of a sudden now you have a receiver that's running a post or a glance. And he's open there. So, yeah, they present a lot of problems. I think the quarterback's extremely accurate. He's the quarterback that played against us at the end of the game last year. You remember back to the fourth quarter, and he's thrown 8 touchdowns and 0 picks. They've done a great job of taking care of the football. I think one turnover. So, we've got to do a great job defensively, trying to keep everything in front of us. We did remember the challenge from last year. Hopefully, we'll play a lot better than that defensively. And then at the same time, I think conversely on the offense, we have to do a good job of taking care of the football, obviously, but occupying the ball, keeping their offense off the field, I think will be critical and huge in this game.
All right, everyone, we have to wrap up there. Coach, we appreciate it. Thanks everybody for being with us. Sorry if we didn't get to you.
Appreciate it, guys.